Hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing great, whether it be night or day wherever you are. If you're new, hi, welcome to the channel. And realms, am I glad that you can join us today for another story that I wrote, which is a Tartaglia ex-listener. As always, links for the music used in this video will be down below, and further announcements will be said after the video. I hope you guys enjoy. It has been a while since you've been back in Mondstadt. Or rather, any other place that wasn't filled with a sky that'll make you shiver or waters that would electrocute you without mercy as of late. Truth be told, you have been spending most of your time in Inazuma, and who was to blame you? There was so much to do, and aside from that, it was always fun to discover new places. You were guilty of the fact that you tend to be caught up in the moment, and you couldn't help but be enamored by the said place, albeit the electricity that seemed to follow the Raiden Shogun's dream of eternity with its presence. The thought made you melancholy for a while as you strolled in the ever-so-familiar city of Mondstadt. If only your sibling was here to enjoy the scenery with you, just like back then. You took in a breath to smile. Well, look on the bright side. At least, it didn't feel like every breath was static anymore. You kept it on as you were greeted with the familiar faces of those you grew to be acquainted with in your first days here. After all, this was the city that you first roamed countless of times, trained in, helped people, did a million commissions. This felt like home somehow. Home. Before you could inevitably get stuck and carried away with nostalgia, you remembered why you were here in the first place. There was a small request from someone in Inazuma that required you to head back to Liyue momentarily. Just as you were about to head back, the Catherine there informed you of a letter from the Catherine of Mondstadt. Something about Jean needing you for a specific thing when she heard about you being back in the area. Must be something really important if it came from Jean herself. Hearing that, you knew you had to head straight over. Just how bad was it to have prompted a letter when you had been back by barely a day? With that thought, you dashed up the steps in hopes of meeting her in her office, where she hopefully would be. The only thing that you were further thankful for was for the fact that there were actual steps. Arkans, when was the last time that you had climbed stairs? It was mostly mountainous terrains as of recent, if not treading through shallow waters.
Traveler, there you are.
A familiar voice spoke, cutting your tread short. The face that greeted you wasn't one that you would have expected to be here. Nor was it someone who you had any business meeting. You were pretty sure you had already kicked his behind for this week. So why? A mop of orange hair bounced as the said person climb the stairs with a goofy grin that he seemed to have plastered on his face for every time you two met. He still had a few of the bandages from when you last sparred, but he seemed as bright as ever.
Childe? What are you doing here?
You questioned, both in confusion and suspicion in general. He grinned back as he rubbed the back of his neck.
Well, when I heard you were going to be here, I couldn't resist.
You deadpanned.
So what you're saying is that you're technically stalking me?
He froze up as guiltily as you continued.
And hey, what do you mean when you heard I was here? I literally just got here.
Childe simply chuckled and chucked it up to Fatui intel. Well, truth be told, he hadn't really known your whereabouts, but rather, he was simply doing business in relation to the bank. It had simply been a nice surprise to see his favorite traveler, and he couldn't miss the chance to mess with you for a while. Now, can he? Call it fate, maybe? Maybe bad luck? After all, he hasn't really gotten to see you much these days. And as much as he wouldn't want to voice it out, he did, after all, miss being with you and your daily banters out of your weekly spars.
So, what are you here for?
He asked.
Shouldn't I be asking you that?
You retorted, realizing in that moment that you had never actually seen Childe in Mondstadt. Have you? Or if you had, it might have been too brief to even remember.
Oh, come on now. Can't a handsome Hydra user keep a little bit of mystery?
And there he goes, trying to deflect it, as he always does. You sighed and covered your face, as if showing your disappointment in his presence, but more so to hide the faint smile on your lips. Sure, you admit it. You two missed this ever so annoying Fatui, but going further down the memory lane wasn't of utmost importance right now. You had to go and meet Jean. Who knows what danger might be brewing if you dawdle.
Right, whatever you say, fishy Fatui boy, but I really gotta go right now.
You said quite hurriedly as you continued your dash through the stairs. Childe wasn't someone to be taken lightly nor out of suspicion, but if he was walking around this area, you doubt that he was that big of a threat this time. What you didn't expect was,
Hey, wait up!
Childe's voice turned a few heads as he rushed behind you, as if to follow suit. It was too early in the morning to be dealing with any of this. But it was much more appreciated than silence.
Traveler, there you are.
Another voice spoke. You were about to disregard the statement politely if it hadn't been one that belonged to the person that you were here for in the first place. Jean waved to you halfway through the steps as though she had been waiting.
Good morning, traveler. I hope your trip had been all right, and... Oh.
She paused, taking note of your company.
Don't mind him.
You laughed nervously.
He was just leaving.
You gritted your teeth, hoping that the Fatui would take the hint as he merely stood beside you. Unfortunately, you seem to have been simply met with the goofy smile that he wore. You should have seen this coming. Jean gave him a look, but paid no attention as requested.
Well, Traveler, I won't dawdle either. As I have said in the letter, there was something I hoped you would do. If it is all right to impose on you.
She said, rather worry. A slight worry spiked in you, seeing a drop of sweat roll from her forehead. Was it this serious? Before she could even further explain and speak, another voice spoke behind you.
Can I come play with you today?
You looked down, seeing a child clad in bright red beaming up at you with the largest grin. She jumped in glee at the sight and couldn't believe that you were actually here. You beamed yourself, missing the sight of the child as you bent down and picked her up, pinching her cheeks.
Klee! Oh, I missed you!
You look back at Jean, awaiting her next words, when you two realized there was a smile on her face as well.
Actually, I was wondering if you would be fine with taking Klee with you for the day. She had been begging for quite a while now.
You look back to Klee, who had been giving her largest pleading eyes.
Please? I want to go on an adventure.
You didn't need to think twice. Okay, maybe you did. But it had been quick. Let's see. You had already done all your commissions, most bounties, and, well, you can say it was time for a break as well. Or so Paimon had been insisting on you for quite some time now.
I'd love to.
You replied. With a brief exchange of warnings from Jean and a meeting place after all this, Klee was set for the day. Jean threw one of her wary looks toward Childe, who had not spoken a word through the entire conversation before she left.
Why are you still here?
So, we're taking care of a child today, aren't we, comrade?
He beamed.
Huh? What do you mean we... Did he just ignore me?
You're Klee, right?
He greeted Klee. Wait. What? Did Childe just ignore you? And no, that was not a pun.
Good morning.
You looked at him incredulously. Just, what was he planning?
Hey, wait. Time out. What do you mean, we?
Aw, come on now, traveler.
Childe replied as he received a high five from Klee, who seemed to have warmed up to him in record time.
Don't be like that. It's rare I have some time to spend with you.
Right. Aren't the Fatui seeming a little lax these days? It seems it's less with me and more with the child you just met. I'm pretty sure I'm the one who's tasked with Klee, and you were tasked with, walking away, leaving, going back to your bank.
You teased. Half serious, though. Childe sighed as you held Klee's hand, commenting on how you seemed to want him worked to the bone.
So, Klee, what do you want to do today?
You asked after momentarily sticking your tongue out and letting yourself be childish even for a while. No pun intended. Klee jumped once more and listed quite a few things that might have concerned Jean, especially after the lengthy list of warnings that she just said. Aside from that, she too turned to Childe and asked if he was going to play with the both of you. You found this quite the sight, since as much as Klee was warm to everyone, you hadn't really thought you would have been instantly warm to him. Ah, the bliss of a child. Again, no pun intended.
Good morning, comrade. You seem to be raring to go today, I see.
Childe smiled. Ah, of course. He was going to be warm. He was an older brother after all. You recall the time that Tusser came around. You knew that Childe really wanted to spend some time with him, but that day was simply filled with too much work that got in the way of things. He was right though. He barely got any time off, and since today it seemed like he did so.
Fine. You can tag along.
You told him.
Wait, really? You heard that, comrade? We have the go signal! And before that, I'm Childe, but I also go by Tartaglia.
Childe winked at you as he spoke with Klee.
Spot Knight Klee of the Knights of Favonius reporting for duty. There's some more, but, I forgot. I'm not so good at remembering.
Klee's eyes beamed in excitement, planning one of her most exciting activities for her newly found friend.
Do you want to come fish blasting with me? I'll get grounded for a whole day, but it's way worth it because the fish taste so good.
As if to add fuel to the fire, Childe seemed to grow a fondness over her and had a devious look on his face as well.
Perfect weather for fishing. The sound of the rain scares them away, but once it stops, they're yours for the taking.
Klee smiled as if planning already.
Lucky all my new bombs are waterproof.
I see a fish I want to blast if he tries something.
You took a shot at Childe.
But, guys, maybe this isn't a good, you wanna eat first? I learned a few new recipes.
You could only butt in, trying to intervene in hopes of stopping the inevitable camaraderie. Again, no pun intended. Oh, who am I kidding? Thankfully, Klee turned to you in agreement as she hopped over and dashed towards the stove near Good Hunter. You waved at Klee and followed, turning to Childe, who seemed to grin even wider now.
Okay, what are you really smiling about?
He started.
Doesn't this day seem nice? We're taking care of a kid, and she seems really happy, so that's a good start. It reminds me of home somehow.
Oh. Well, when you put it like that... Yeah, it does.
You smiled, reminded of how you treasure days like these. It really was a nice day.
Not to mention, I got to see you again.
Childe continued.
It seems kinda like foreshadowing, doesn't it?
Foreshadowing?
You couldn't help but repeat in the confusion?
I mean, days like these are nice, and I can't wait for more. After all, it's like how we're going to be taking care of our kid in the future, isn't it?
You froze in your tracks at that. You sent a look towards him, which was only met with a cheeky smile. You raised a hand, and he inevitably closed his eyes, as if awaiting the hit. But you only covered them instead, for good measure, and tried to hide the small blush forming on your cheeks. Maybe it was the fact that you haven't been bombarded by these lately, even with the presence of Toma in Inazuma, that it still caught you quite off guard, momentarily forgetting how he and some other people wore their hearts on their sleeve.
Let's go already. Klee's waiting.
Hey, you didn't say no that time. Does this mean...
Shut up, you orange.
You walked faster, as to hide your face, sputtering to a jog as you bantered down the steps, and just continued. As you guys followed suit and reached Klee, there was one thing that you couldn't deny. You missed this, after all. You missed home. And this feels just like that.
So, we're taking care of a child today. No, what the child, what are you doing there?
Climb the stairs with a groovy.
What? Traveler!
Of those you grew to be a king.
I learned a few new recipes. Hopefully none of which will shock you. Oh, that was so bad. No.
It's so bad.
So, we're taking care of a child no.
Someone in it is cutting your thread.
Trap? Nope.
Seem to follow the Raiden Shogun's dream of eternity.
Hey, wait up! No, what the f did I try and do there?
Child, see you much these days. Jean threw one of the as he spoke to.
I mean, days like these are neat. No, oh, no, phone, don't cut off on me, please.
This was one of her most
I'm pretty sure I'm the one who's tasked with Klee, and you were tasked with, whatever you were tasked with. Probably walking away, you know, heading back to where you came from, and staying there. Please.
Traveler! No. We don't speak of that. We do not speak of that. That's me just...
Okay, so that was it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, as I am posting 2 to 3 times a week on regular posting scheds. And again, links will be in the description down below, and also my Discord tag in my YT about page if you want to interact, because I'm mostly on there. And if you have any original stories that you would like to submit, or anything that you would like to submit, like art or anything really, or maybe you have requests for some certain characters, scenarios, or such, just DM me or place it in the comments down below, and I would definitely love to read them and hopefully make great stories out of them as well. Hopefully I do them justice. Okay, that's really it. I hope that I see you guys in the next video, and yeah. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay hydrated, stay safe. Love you, teacups. Bye.